Welcome to Shooting It Straight with Stan. I'm your host, Stan, the Annuity Man, America's annuity agent, licensed in all 50 states. Today's topic is a barn burner, as they would say in the South. I don't know where that comes from. I'm assuming they were burning barns for whatever reason, but this is a barn burner. And the topic is annuity illustration or annuity illusion. Now, right at this point in time, at the time of this taping, the annuity industry and the life insurance industry and life insurance companies issue annuities, as you know, after watching all of my videos. They have products that have potential returns, like index universal life, which I don't sell, or index annuities, which I do sell, but I properly sell them as efficient delivery systems for income rider guarantees. And if someone wants to look at them for accumulation value, they are CD products. Let me repeat that. They are CD products. Yes, they are CD products. They are not market products. They were not put on the planet in 1995 when they were first introduced for market returns, market upside with no downside, market participation with principal protection, sir. That crap that's being pitched out there. But in addition to that crap sales pitch, which I just did in a very good Southern kind of low IQ voice, what they also do is this: Mr. Jones, Mrs. Jones, please look at this proposal. Please look at these numbers that if you'd have owned it 10 years ago, if you'd have owned it whatever, 8 years ago, these are the returns that you would have made. Okay? You've all seen that. Nod your head. If you haven't, you're going to be pitched that by somebody, and they're going to say, look at this. If you'd have owned it like 10 years ago, you'd have made 7, 10, 11, 13, 14, 6% returns with principal protection, and we're going to give you an upfront bonus too. That is getting ready to be a big issue in this industry. Now, I have been pounding the table on this misleading, pie in the sky, unicorn chasing the butterflies, too good to be true nonsense targeted at people in this country that are not sophisticated to understand that that doesn't exist, or are so sophisticated that they think they're so smart that they've gotten something their neighbor doesn't know about. Either way, it's a problem. And now the lawyers, and I love lawyers, a lot of some of my best friends are lawyers. Dave, who is one of my best friends in the world, is a lawyer. So I don't have anything against lawyers. But lawyers are capitalists, and lawyers smell blood, and lawyers are like sharks in the water, and lawyers like suing big companies and big industries with big pockets. Can I get an annuity amen and a hallelujah with that? We all know that. So what's been happening in the industry, and it's not, I mean, kudos to the annuity industry. I mean, they do not allow a lot of information and details to come out about this. And I'm sure they're going to say, I really wish Stan would shut up and stop talking about this. But I consider myself the annuity consumer advocate, the annuity whisperer, the top agent in the country. And with that role, licensed in all 50 states, but with that role, it's my duty. It's my duty to tell you what's going on. So right now, a lot of states don't even allow the back-tested numbers. Well, sir, if you'd have owned it 10 years ago, look what you would have made. And there's a lot of indices, indexes, plural is what that is, that are made up out of thin air. You know, like 3 months ago, you've never heard of it. And then they're going to show you, the agent advisor, what you would have made 10 years ago if you'd owned it, but it's only been around 3 months. Please explain to me how that's rational. It's not rational. This is an easy fix. The annuity industry could do this easily. They could fix it. If my name was Stanislav, the annuity czar, I would fix it. I would not allow it. But I think what's getting ready to come down the pike, because the lawyers are sniffing blood, money blood, they have found out that there are a lot of Americans, hardworking Americans, that put a lot of their retirement money into a product that they believed was going to get them market upside with no downside, that they believed was going to get them market participation with principal protection, that they believed they were going to get 9, 10, 11, 13% return, that they believed the sales pitch, that they believed the hypotheticals. And oh, by the way, what the lawyers have found out, those hypotheticals were in writing and were on the company issuing annuity company paper. Now, yes, to the annuity company's defense, and I will defend them Because when they put out products, they're not trying to bamboozle anyone. But the problem is once the agent army gets a hold of it, then the annuity company, the annuity carrier can't regulate what's being said or shown. Now, the way to combat that is don't show these hypothetical theoretical numbers. And I think after this, these legal things that are coming down the pike, I'm not sure they're going to be around too much longer. Thank goodness. I've only been pounding the table on this for over a decade. Please stop showing this. Please stop convincing people to buy potential. You know, my saying is you own an annuity for what it will do, not what it might do. And the might do are these hypothetical, theoretical, projected, back-tested unicorns chasing the darn butterfly proposals that sound too good to be true because they are. So is it an annuity illustration or an annuity illusion? Most of the time, it's an illusion. There's a very smart lady in the annuity business who I have tons of respect for, and she focuses on the index annuity space. She said a long time ago, she's never seen one of those proposals come true. She's never seen that hypothetical or theoretical illustration come true. When I read that from her a long time ago, that was it for me, because she's the source. And I was like, okay, she said it, I'm done. I'm done, because all of this stuff makes no sense. I got a call the other day, and a gentleman's like, well, you know, Stan, I'm looking at the MIGAs because those are guaranteed interest rate. Yes, thank you. And I'm looking at this indexed annuity that was presented to me, but you know, they're telling me I'm getting 7, 9, 10%. I'm like, what's your goal? Well, I'd like to get 9 to 10%. I don't want to call you an idiot, but you're delusional. You're delusional. It's not going to happen. And all of the agents and advisors out there, please don't send me that thing that your mom owned or you own or your brother owns. By the way, if any agent goes, you know, you really should buy this because look, my mom owns this, my Uncle Bob owns this. Stop. If they're having to sell that to their mom and their Uncle Bob, they need to get out of the business, period. Don't do it. I mean, for all the agents and advisors out there, don't do business with family. I don't do business with family. I don't want to talk to family at the family reunion about annuities or money. I want to talk about the deviled eggs and the potato salad. Mayonnaise-based, of course, not mustard-based, if you know what I mean. But the point is this, these annuity illustrations are really annuity illusions in most cases, whether it's index universal life, which is pitched out there like, well, you can get this, you can get a tax-free income. No, you can't, because it's a loan on the policy and all loans are tax-free. Why? Good question, because they're loans. Okay. There's a fee for the loan. So, well, I'm getting tax-free income. No, you're not. You're getting a loan, and congratulations on the loan, and maybe the loan works out. But I'm just going to tell you, it's not tax-free income. So annuity illustration or annuity illusion. See, I believe that the annuity industry could really clean this up and do themselves a favor from a PR standpoint. Again, if I was Stanislav, my name was Stanislav, and I was annuity czar, I would clean this up. I would say, we're not showing back-tested numbers. We're not going to show all of that. You know, listen, the world would be perfect if we could all go back and make decisions back in the day knowing the answers. Like Back to the Future Part 2, when the bully guy had the book of all the scores and he was making money as a gambler. Watch it. I love Back to the Future. Anyway, Michael J. Fox. But the point is, I mean, if the annuity industry with index universal life and indexed annuities and buffer annuities, whatever, would say, we cannot show back-tested numbers, but here are the cap spreads and participation rates. And by the way, for all of you out there, those are the levers that limit the upside that the annuity company controls and can change and gives you multiple choices. And at the time of this taping, there's over 700 indexed annuity index option choices. 700. How about that? Now, spoiler alert, they're all pretty much designed to give you the same type of return. And when index annuities were put on the planet in 1995, they were to compete with CDs. CD returns, not market returns. Okay. And if you attach an income rider to an indexed annuity, then that fee for the income rider is going to be deducted from the accumulation value. But if the annuity industry would just disallow the back-tested numbers and just show, I mean, this is basic. Just show, okay, here's the cap spreads and participation rates for this first year. here's the carrier's renewal rate history, because they can change the rules, but here's how they performed and have they pulled the contractual rug out from other people. Show that, and then have the people go, well, there's a 7% cap this year. And historically it's they have been fair to the client. Then make your decision there, but don't make your decision on the illustration, because it's an illusion. I really wish the annuity industry would beat the lawyers to the punch on this. It would be the best PR ever if they came out as an industry and said, the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, who I love those people, I think they need to be proactive. They need to hold a press conference and say, we have looked at these back-tested numbers. We have looked at the hypotheticals, theoreticals, and unicorns chasing the butterflies stuff out there, and no more is that allowed. You cannot show that as an agent, and if you do, you will lose your license immediately and be fined $10,000. That would solve it, period. And then you would base your decision on what's in place contractually moving forward, and the way that the annuity company changes those caps and spreads, their historical nature on that. That's not a back tested. That's saying, have they been fair to the client? Have they been fair to the policyholder? Because I always say, let's just say you have a 1-year call option on an index annuity and the surrender charge is a 10-year surrender charge. What in essence you're buying is a 1-year guarantee with a 10-year surrender charge, because years 2 through 10, the annuity company at their discretion can change the rules on the caps and the spreads and the participation rates. Yes, there are a handful that don't at this point in time, but still you need to do your homework on that. Do not believe the sales pitch. Now, we can solve this a couple ways in the annuity industry. It's going to get solved. Either way, this will be solved. This, in the future, the back-tested numbers, my prediction is Stan the Annuity Man, America's annuity agent, licensed in all 50 states, the brutal, factual truth teller, walking middle finger of annuity truth out here. I know, I love that. Someone called me that when they introduced me one time, and I've hung on to that. Here's the point, though. I think eventually it's going to go away. Either the lawyers are going to force that through a class action lawsuit, or the annuity industry is going to be proactive and say, no more. We're not doing that. From a PR standpoint, we're not going to do that. We're not going to mislead in any way the public. Now, again, the carriers aren't trying to mislead, but the way it's being presented is misleading. Okay, I'm on the carrier side here. The agents are the one that's taking the message and just ramping it up. This Ford Pinto will go 140 miles an hour, sir. I'm just telling you, 0 to 50 and 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. I mean, it's that kind of sales pitch, but it's going to get solved. It's either going to get solved by the lawyers or it's going to get solved by the industry. Now, here's the twist to the whole thing, which is insanity when I read this. And I'm not going to mention any names, and you can dig it if you want to, but I've got no beef against anybody. I'm Stan the Annuity Man. I'm a lovable, huggable figure out here. Warm fuzzball, right? Okay. Didn't Rush say that, like harmless fuzzball, Rush Limbaugh, a long time? Believe me, I'm not a Rush Limbaugh fan, but he was talented. We all have to, agree with that. I mean, I was a fan of his talent. How about that? I'm just not political. I don't care either way. I'm just a capitalist who tries to play guitar. As you can see in the background, they got the 4 flying V's. But what was I talking about? Yeah, I was talking about the industry. Oh, the twist. Here's the twist. And here, this is great. There are some agents that are now suing the carriers that gave them the hypothetical and theoretical proposals to show to their clients. They're saying, well, they should have never provided that hypothetical for me to voluntarily show. Okay. I think I'm going to sue Krispy Kreme donuts for the gut. Okay. That's like me saying, Krispy Kreme put that in front of me, and that's just not fair. And they shouldn't do that because they know I'm from the South and they know I suffer from the sugars, S-U-G-A-R-S, sugars. That's pre-diabetes for all you people not from the South. And I'm going to sue Krispy Kreme donuts because of that. That's the stupidity of what I'm reading. Agents suing the carriers because they were given this and then they presented it and now they're suing the carriers because the carriers gave it to them. That's a weird one. I mean, that's the best legal pivot I've ever seen in my life. But here's the bottom line and the takeaway. Do not put any faith, credence, or credibility in any back-tested number that's shown to you. Any number, Mr. Jones, if you'd owned it 10 years ago, you would have got this. Why wouldn't you own it for the next 10 years because of those past 10 years? If that's you, you are dumb as a box of hair. You're stupid, and you get what you deserve. And if you've bought it under that premise, you made a mistake. And if you can get out, get out. Period. I know that's harsh, but all those back-tested numbers don't come true, ever. You know, I'm working on my breathing to get my blood pressure down. But this topic, annuity illustration or annuity illusion, yeah, I had to wear the red Stanley Annuity Man cap for a reason, to match my face, which is beet red, because this one drives me crazy, because consumers are making big time mistakes based upon these misleading representations. Be careful out there. Watch the news. This is going to get interesting. And stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, stay positive, and stay tuned in to Shooting It Straight with Stan. I'm Stan the Annuity Man. I'll see you next week.